You know what you and Diddy was doing together in y'all younger years. All that's coming out.
Who else did you see allegedly on the tapes?
Tyrese with Will and Jada. Then the one with Charlie Mack and Will. Jada's not on it, but you can hear her say, make him spit up.
Bilal's alleged sister is saying that they're trying to tell her that the man is now brain dead, and he can't talk and he can't speak right now. And they're trying to make her have to make a huge decision. And I told her, do not make the decision and take him off of life support.
You know Will me. You know Diddy made me suck his. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck.
Surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline. And he gonna...
Smith's former best friend of almost 40 years has sued his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, saying that she threatened to end his life. Now, Jada has said she was going to sue him first, but apparently he has beat her to the punch.
Door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up on him. Murder, like murder. It was murder in there.
Before we put out the interview, all we put out was a clip that went ultra viral. Okay? Yeah. Everybody in the world got this clip. It was trending for days on Twitter. Okay? Before the interview comes out, what shocked me is Jada is doing her book promotional for Worthy.
Yes.
She goes to the Breakfast Club and she sits down and they ask her about you, but they can't not ask. Like, it's so huge.
Right.
And to my surprise, she answers.
It's ridiculous, right? And it's nonsense. And this is a person that tried a money shakedown that didn't work. We're going to take legal action.
The reason Will responded, the reason why Jada responded, because they know it's true. Will's never responded. And they responded in less than 9 hours.
They did. That was a fast response.
That was because he know what I saw in that dressing room. He know other things that I saw. She did all this to try to scare me, but I fear no one but Allah. Jada, listen, in 2 weeks, if you don't sue me in 2 weeks, if Tasha K will have me, I'm back here and I'm dropping evidence. Period. You said I extorted you. You said there's a money shakedown. You said a lot of things about me. And you know that the things that you said were untrue. Let's get into a little bit more of it. Jada runs Will. Period. Me and her at war. I'm gonna put Will to the side. Will is to the side. Me and Jada, I will say this because I know you're watching. I know Karen Tense is watching.
Who's Karen Tense?
That is her PR person for years.
Okay.
Right? I know they're watching. Jada, you're a bald head liar and you're a addict, right?
Oh, God.
You told the world that you were going to sue me. As of yet, and you said you're going to do it swift. It's been over 2 weeks. So, Jada, I'm giving you 2 more weeks to sue me. If you don't sue me, this is what's going to happen. All the parties, right? And the men that you hit with dildos, I'm naming names, right? All the salacious stuff that you have done and hurt other people, I'm naming names. You assassinate my character. You say I extort you. Well, extortion is criminal. Like, I would be in jail right now if I tried to extort.
Trying to slut him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up. Well, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filly whore. You're a big old and they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bashir conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Bilal and I asked Bilal to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his fucking book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Don't nobody care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids.
Just days after unleashing some of the most disturbing allegations Hollywood has heard in years, a longtime insider with direct ties to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith is suddenly fighting for his life overseas. Lawsuits, alleged tapes, public threats, and viral interviews all collided within a matter of weeks. And now, amid reports of pneumonia, a possible coma, and total silence from the man at the center of it all, the internet is asking the same question over and over again. Did he say too much, and did the timing seal his fate? Right now, the only thing anyone seems to know for sure is that something is very wrong. A man who was speaking loudly, publicly, and relentlessly just days ago is now reportedly hospitalized in Colombia, with conflicting accounts swirling about his condition and no direct communication from him whatsoever. Some reports claim he's in a coma, others suggest severe pneumonia, and the most alarming whispers allege he may be brain dead. But what's sending chills through the internet is that his own family says they haven't heard from him at all. His sister, still in the United States, is allegedly being pressured to make life-altering decisions without being able to hear his voice, see his condition firsthand, or even get clear answers about how things deteriorated so quickly. One minute he was online doing interviews, naming names, and warning people he feared for his life. And the next minute he vanished into a foreign hospital with nothing but rumors filling the silence. That silence is doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. No verified statements from him, no videos, no updates spoken in his own words, just secondhand accounts, urgent pleas, and a growing sense of panic from people watching this unfold in real time. The timing alone has people on edge. His health emergency comes immediately after a barrage of explosive interviews and legal filings, making the lack of transparency feel less like coincidence and more like cause for concern. Online, supporters are questioning how someone can go from traveling, speaking, and planning future disclosures to suddenly being unreachable and incapacitated, all while key decisions are allegedly being rushed behind closed doors. The absence of clarity has turned this from a celebrity scandal into something far darker. A waiting game where every hour without confirmation fuels fear, suspicion, and a haunting possibility that the story may be cut short before the truth ever fully comes out. What makes this moment feel especially dangerous is that his silence didn't come out of nowhere. It came at the exact height of his visibility. He wasn't a background figure quietly telling old stories. He was actively speaking, actively filing paperwork, and actively daring powerful people to respond. In the days leading up to his hospitalization, he was naming names, outlining timelines, and publicly stating that he feared for his safety. He wasn't retreating, he was escalating. He said repeatedly that if certain legal actions didn't happen, more information would come out, and that sense of countdown is what has people shaken now. When someone who has been warning the public that they're in danger suddenly can't speak at all, the silence doesn't feel natural. It feels consequential. That's where the lawsuit comes in, because it marked the moment this situation allegedly crossed from messy internet drama into something far more serious. According to court filings, he sued Jada Pinkett Smith for millions, claiming that she threatened his life after he spoke publicly about her and her marriage. He alleged that she confronted him in person, warned him about continuing to talk, and implied severe consequences if he didn't stop. Whether those claims hold up in court or not, the significance lies in the fact that they're documented. This wasn't just a YouTube rant or a podcast moment anymore. This was a formal accusation filed under penalty of perjury, placing his fear on record and raising the stakes for everyone involved. From there, things only intensified. Instead of pulling back, he doubled down. He appeared on multiple podcasts, and with each appearance, the claims reportedly became more detailed, more confrontational, and more viral. Clips circulated rapidly, drawing massive attention and forcing responses from people who had previously stayed silent. What stood out wasn't just what he said, but how quickly reactions followed, statements, denials, and threats of legal action all emerging within hours. That rapid-fire back and forth gave the impression that nerves were being hit and pressure was building behind the scenes, even as the story continued to snowball online. As the interviews piled up, the conversation began to shift away from individual accusations and toward a much larger theme: power. He wasn't just talking about personal grievances anymore. He was describing a system where influence, access, and careers could allegedly be controlled by a small circle of powerful people. He framed Hollywood as an environment where silence is rewarded, exposure is punished, and those without leverage are easily discarded. Whether listeners believed him or not, the narrative resonated with an audience already primed by years of similar stories about gatekeeping, coercion, and the cost of speaking out. That resonance only grew louder as other voices entered the conversation. Commentators, industry figures, and controversial insiders began echoing pieces of his claims, adding their own commentary, context, or parallel allegations. Some said they weren't surprised, others claimed to have heard similar rumors for years, and a few suggested there was far more happening behind closed doors than the public ever sees. The result was a feedback loop. Each new voice amplified the story, pushing it further into the mainstream and making it harder to ignore. By the time he went silent, the narrative had grown bigger than him, fueled by speculation, fear, and the unsettling idea that this was no longer just one man's story, but a reckoning that might never fully unfold if he doesn't get the chance to speak again. As if the accusations themselves weren't enough, what truly elevated the tension around this story was his repeated insistence that he wasn't speaking recklessly. He claimed he had proof. Over and over, he referenced recordings, hard drives, and what he called receipts, framing them as insurance rather than threats. He suggested that what he had seen and allegedly possessed wasn't just shocking, but damaging enough to force powerful people into silence or response. He emphasized that these materials existed outside of him, stored elsewhere, and that if anything happened to him, others would know where to look. That idea alone shifted the tone of the conversation. This was no longer just about words spoken on podcasts. It was about what might still be unseen, unheard, and unreleased, hanging over the situation like a loaded question mark. Not long after making those claims public, he reportedly did something that immediately raised eyebrows. He left the country. According to multiple accounts, he traveled to Colombia, allegedly out of fear for his safety. The move was framed as temporary, a way to lay low and disappear from the spotlight while things cooled down. But to many watching, it felt less like a vacation and more like a last-ditch attempt to put distance between himself and whatever storm he believed was coming. The timing was impossible to ignore. Just after declaring he feared for his life, just after speaking about evidence, just after daring legal action, he was suddenly thousands of miles away. It felt like the opening act of a thriller, where the audience knows danger is near, but doesn't yet know from which direction it's coming. Then, just as suddenly as he left, everything stopped. Reports began surfacing that he had been hospitalized in Colombia under unclear circumstances. Some claimed he was involved in an accident. Others said he was suffering from severe pneumonia. Still others suggested he was in a coma or unable to communicate at all. What made the situation even more unsettling was the lack of confirmation from him directly. No messages, no videos, no statements. Only secondhand updates and growing concern from people saying his family couldn't reach him. One moment he was warning the public, and the next, his voice was completely gone, replaced by confusion and fear. As these reports spread, online observers began connecting dots, not by declaring facts, but by asking uncomfortable questions. People pointed out similarities to other high-profile cases where figures became ill or incapacitated amid controversy. They noted the timing, the suddenness, and the recurring mention of the same medical explanations. None of this proved anything on its own, but the repetition made it difficult for audiences to brush off the unease. When patterns start to feel familiar, speculation naturally follows, and in this case, the speculation has been relentless. Public reaction has been split but intense. Some are urging caution, reminding others that rumors can spiral dangerously fast. Others are demanding transparency, asking why information is so limited and why his family appears to be in the dark. Supporters are expressing fear that the story may end without answers, while critics argue that the truth, whatever it is, may now be buried beneath silence, legal complexity, and distance. The louder the debate gets, the quieter the central figure remains, and that imbalance is what keeps tension high. And that's the question lingering over everything now. If he never speaks again, if those alleged recordings are never released, if those hard drives never surface, what truth disappears with him? Was he a man spiraling publicly, or someone who pushed too hard against forces far larger than himself? And perhaps most unsettling of all, who benefits the most from a story that ends not with clarity, but with silence?